Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today I want to bring you the full build guide of the low life Bane pop Occultist. I know a lot of people have been waiting for this, but I just wanted to make sure that I'll be able to kill the Awakener on Awakener level 8, like the hardest difficulty, before I bring any kind of build guides. Because I think personally, if I say, guys, this is a good boss killer and I'll not be able to do all bosses in the game, it's not a good boss killer. So I wanted to wait until I got this down. I got him down yesterday, so now I'm feeling confident enough to bring this build, or at least the build guide for this speed mapper and also very, very good boss killer. But first things first, the most interesting thing here is the map showcase, right? Map showcase, usually this is the, I would say, important part, because if you think the build looks like shit, you don't want to play it, you know? So even though it might be the best build you've ever seen, if you don't like the playstyle, you will not probably play it. That's why we're going to play a tier 16 map. So this is on Awakening level 8. So this is kind of rippy, I gotta say. We have all the bonuses unlocked here. So with the Awakener bonus here, the level 8, that also means 24% increased effect. This counts also for the quality as every other mob. So when I say 4% increased effect, here we say 40% increased monster attack speed times 26%, right? So, 24%. So everything on this map is based on this Awakening level. So the good things like quality, pack size, and so on is also increased, but the worst things like 60% less recovery is still then a multiplier, so I'm even having less recovery. Recovery is something I don't really enjoy too much. We can run no Regen Maps as well. Let's do this one, doesn't matter. But here we have increased boss damage and also a quarter on top of that, right? Just to clarify that if I should be dying here in this map, it's just the hardest map that it can get, right? But before we start the map showcase, I want to give a big shout out to the most recent and to overall the Patreon supporters that are helping me out. And that's Gintaras, Sangwoo, Jari-Matti, Jadenyu, Christian, Anders, Naik, Stefan, and the last one, and the most recent one, Mr. Saving. So guys, thanks so much for supporting me on Patreon, and if you want to become a patron of mbXtreme and on my channel as well, make sure to check out the link in the description. Thanks for that. Alright, let's get started. So I would say we're just gonna run this map, and with Fortune of the Brave, because I'm just about to finish my challenges. We're in 32 challenges already, and one of those is running 30 maps with Fortune of the Brave, so I'm having 25 already, so soon done on that one. Basically how this works, and we're gonna go over through that later, I'm having a double setup here, okay? First one, the dual obliteration. This is my mapping setup, and as soon as I'm about to kill the Conqueror, the map boss, the Metamorph, the Conquerors, the Awakener, and so on, I'm just weapon swapping to a separate bow, which has an Essence Drain setup to supplement my Bane damage here. But for the mapping itself, it's fair enough if you have the dual obliterations. I'm currently having like 100,000 damage here on Bane on tooltip. So, first of all, you will see that a lot of shit is just like exploding, and this is a very, very beautiful effect here. Oh god, we have Beyond as well. So this is actually a pretty hard map here. But yeah, this is it. This is Awakening level 8, boys. So if you're wondering how it looks like to have the hardest maps in the game, this is what it looks like. And you have to kill a lot of Conquerors and at least like Beyond bosses and all that kind of shit. So holy shit, you really need a decent build this game here. But yeah, seems like we have these shrine buffs. We're now just picking up all of this stuff here. And you will now think first, if you are new to Bane and so on, or if you have played Bane already, why is my Herald of Ash proccing? This is the white explosions that you see. This is Herald of Ash. So why does this proc? You cannot proc it with Bane, but the obliterations have this stat: monsters killed explode, dealing a quarter of their life, or at least 20% chance to deal a percentage of their life as chaos damage, right? And the chaos damage, this is an actual hit, and this will trigger the Herald of Ash, and then it is a chain reaction. I'm gonna talk about that one later, how it works with math calculations and stuff. But still, for the early beginning here, either the Profane Bloom from my Ascendancy or the Obliteration ones, they're both can proc this. So here we are on the boss. I'm switching to my bow. So we're just dotting this one, just shooting some Essence Drains. Hopefully I hit something. I'm actually not really good at hitting those things. But once I hit it, the boss is actually dying. So we're just gonna stand here and just chill a little bit, and the boss should actually be dying in a second. There we go. He's dead. So, map fully cleared. Almost. Let's do the Metamorph as well. I think there is a small region on the top side, but for the map showcase, I think it's fairly fine. I just pick the hardest stuff ever, you know? I don't want to waste my time checking, hey, do we have a 6-link somewhere or whatever, you know? So I just always take the hardest things. So I'm going close to Essence Drain, Bane, and I tried to get an Essence Drain off again before he spawns the monsters, okay? And now we're just basically running around and just spamming Bane, let stuff explode. And yeah, here another Essence Drain. Every time you have a free space where you could actually attack the boss, get a Bane, get an Essence Drain off. On the other hand, just use your Bane and it's always safe. Here's another Beyond boss. Hide a little bit and that's about it. So we're gonna pick up everything that is valuable, probably nothing too much here. But yeah, and now I forgot the Portal Scroll. Do we have some Portal Scrolls? There is one. There is actually a Portal Scroll. I missed it. Wisdom? You pick it up? Yeah. Okay, good. We're safe, boys. We're safe. But this is the build. I also did the Awakener on level 8 already with exact this setup here. If you want to check this out, I uploaded this one yesterday. The full guide plus the commentary of the build itself. So we now just throw everything into here. And let's talk about the build. First of all, we talk about the gear and gearing options. Then we talk about the skill tree, jewels and so on. Then pantheons and in the end like MTX and stuff. So everything will be covered here. All right, let's take a look at the gear. So as I said before, I'm using dual obliterations. Here we have enemies killed have 20% chance to explode, dealing a quarter of the maximum life as chaos damage. I have this one twice. Plus, we have the Ascendancy. Cursed enemies, this is important, cursed enemies you or a minion skill have a 25 chance to explode, dealing a quarter of their maximum life as chaos damage. So basically kind of the same as the obliteration, but here it is cursed. But since we're playing Bane, Bane applies the Despair curse, right? So that is why the Profane Bloom works as well. And if we take a close look at the math, right? So you have a 100% chance for a mob to not explode, okay? This is the important part. This is the calculation starts to not explode. Let's write this one in small letters here. So, that means if we count in now the Profane Bloom, which is a 25% chance for monsters to explode, that means a monster has now, with Profane Bloom has now 75% chance, let's copy paste this one here, to not explode. Alright, so now every monster is calculated that you kill it, 75% to not explode, 25 to explode. Now the same thing with the obliterations. They have 20% chance. This has nothing to do with curse, but this is a 20% chance when you kill a monster that it explodes, okay? So we see here obliteration. Let's do 1 and 2. In theory, okay? Let's say to not explode, just to clarify that and what is wrong and what is right, okay? So this is our setup here, right? This doesn't count here. This actually doesn't count. That means that it has some kind of diminishing returns and the math works differently. So let's put up the calculator here. So as I said, this is our starting line. The first one is calculated from 100%. The first obliteration is going to calculate it from the rest here. So we have 75% times 0.2 is 15. So if we take 75 minus 15 is 60. So now we're on 60% chance to not explode, okay? And now we do the same again. The second obliteration is 20% of the remaining 60, okay? So we have 60 times 0.2 is 12. 12 minus 60 is 48. That means we are having now 48% chance for the monster to not explode. And this means every time we kill a monster, it has 52% to explode, okay? Here is the calculation with not explode, but if it's 48% chance to not explode, it means 52% chance to explode. And now it works like that. You kill an enemy, it triggers that 52% here, the monster explodes, killing another enemy. This is calculated from the overkill damage because the Chaos Explosion is a hit. And the hit can trigger the Herald of Ash. Not Bane, just the explosion will trigger Herald of Ash. So the Herald of Ash is based on the overkill damage of the explosion. That means the higher the explosion was, the more fire damage our Herald of Ash will doing, the burning damage, right? And we can support this with like burning damage and Swift Affliction to make even more burning damage. So the next target burns down, and now it has like, I don't know, a little bit less % chance to explode because the monster will probably not be cursed from our Bane. So only the 2 Obliteration can proc it, but then it burns down, the Obliteration creates the next explosion, and triggers Herald of Ash again, and sets the next enemies on fire. So sometimes, if you have enough area of effect, you can clear up multiple screens with an ongoing chain reaction with one single cast of Bane. So this is the explanation why Herald of Ash on Bane, okay? So Bane does not trigger it, it's only about the explosions. But if we meet a boss, I'm switching to an Essence Drain setup, so we don't have the Obliterations. But if I'm killing a boss, I don't need the explosions, you know? Like Zero's, the Awakener, has not even any ad base or something, you know? Alright, let's see here. I have here Spell Totem, multiple totems, and Wither support. So Wither, basically, this is what I do. For example, I'm having like an Essence or something. When I'm too lazy to switch weapons, I'm just gonna drop here some Wither totems. They're going to basically wither the enemy. He's taking more chaos damage, so our Bane will do more damage. On the other hand, I have Cast One Image taking on a low level with Immortal Call and Withering Step. So every time I'm getting too much damage, it procs my Immortal Call. I'm getting less damage, and it also procs the Withering Step. So I'm getting a movement speed, and I think also facing for a short amount of time. So this is just a defensive tool here. In the offhand, I'm having now my bow. This is just, I bought the bow with plus level Sakura Gem and then multi-modded it. This is the new multi-mod. It doesn't work like the old one anymore. You now can have 3 crafted modifiers, while the crafted modifier is already 1, okay? So that means I bought the bow for like 140 chaos already with the colors. But you can just farm Act 9, I think, the part where Yugol is. So if you go to Act 9, or actually Act 8, Act 8 it is, you go to the bathhouse and then you go to the High Gardens where you kill Yugol, where there's a lot of porcupines. There is a card called the Porcupine, and I think if you have 6 or 9 of those, you get a 6-linked short bow. So a 6-linked short bow is not expensive. And then you just like alt spam for the plus level Sakura Gem and the multi-mod. I spend about 7 exalts for my bow, and it gives me a lot damage here. So I'm having here Essence Drain, Swift Affliction, Void Manipulation, and Empower at the moment level 3, Control Destruction, and Efficiency. If you don't have a 6-link and only a 5-link, just skip the Empower, because if you cannot get a 6-link, you will probably not have the currency for the Empower as well, okay? So this is our base setup here. Always the damage ability, Swift and Void Manipulation for double green, and then Control Destruction Efficiency for our double blue. Alright, why Essence Drain over Blight? So if we take a calculation, let's say we have really good gear. Our Blight fully stacked on 20 stacks will do about 6 million Shaper DPS, okay? This is with really good gear, even better than mine. But this is just like a showcase on what is the damage difference. So we have 6 million Blight, okay? The same gear just trimmed to Essence Drain will do about 4 million Blight Essence Drain Shaper DPS. And the same setup trimmed to Bane will do about 2 million Bane Shaper DPS, okay? So there you see, Blight is our best chaos damage skill. I don't want to talk about Soul Rend and stuff like that, because therefore you need a much higher mana pool and cast speed, and would probably go Trickster, blah 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 blah. This is my setup here, okay? I just want to tell you, why do I use Essence Drain over Blight if Blight is doing more damage than Essence Drain? The reason for that is the built-in regen and its range. So in Metamorph and on the Awakener, I personally think that being on range is much more profitable, and also having a dot like this, Blight doesn't last that long, but having a second dot and just playing with those two is like super fine. Let's say Awakener spawns, you do like Essence Drain Bane, my Essence Drain lasts like 5 seconds, Bane lasts 4.5 seconds, so if I do like 1, 2, I know that I'm doing 100% or my maximum damage here for the next 4 seconds, and I'm fairly to run around, dodge all the things, do not die, basically, right? And then I just reapply. If I do the same with Blight, I need to, let's say the waypoint is the Awakener, for example, or any boss, I need to be in range to cast my Blight to get the damage off, right? And every time I stand still, what I do when I'm casting Blight, there's a high chance that he just one-shots me with any kind of beam or a metamorph or something like that. So I personally think the Essence Drain Bane combination is just way safer, although it does less DPS. And the Essence Drain also says you are healed for a portion of the debuff damage, right? So this is a built-in regeneration technique that will give me energy shield back, in that case, if you run like we do the Zealot's Oath. Blight doesn't have that, okay? This is just the safe variation. And on the offhand, I'm using Soul Strike. This is a caster quiver, basically, or at least not really a caster quiver, but it gives me a bunch of energy shield, faster start of energy shield recharge, but reduced energy shield recharge rate. But still, this is perfect for a caster build. You know, so this is the reason. The quiver is basically the reason why I'm not using a staff or something like that. I think a staff could technically be better because it would supplement the Bane as well if you have like +2 level of Chaos skill gems or something. But in the end, my Bane on a 6-link is way enough damage, even for tier 16 on Awakening level 8. And then we have our weapon swap for the single target, which is totally fine, okay? And the quiver gives me a bunch of energy shield. Or if you take a rare quiver, resistance, energy shield, or even if you play the life-based version, you can take that one. And I want to talk about that one real quick, just to get it in. I played the life-based version, the cheaper version, last league, okay? So I will provide the link on the description below if you don't have a lot of currency, because for the low-life energy shield version, you need to have a shafts. And I will talk about that a little bit later, why so. So if you don't have a lot of currency, please play the live version. It's a little bit weaker, but therefore it has much more area of effect playing with the Carcass check, just to get this one straight. Alright, let's talk about from top to bottom here, since we talked about the weapons now. Starting with the helm, just like energy shield and resistance. That's pretty much it, basically. Then Flame Dash with Arcane Surge. Make sure that your Arcane Surge is leveled low enough, so if you use it, you are getting the Arcane Surge buff, okay? So for me, it is 21 and level 6 to have exactly the amount of mana that I need. Then I cast on Death Portal Support. Not recommended for hardcore solo self-found boys, or hardcore anyways. If you're doing Awakening level 8 and you do a lot farming in this high tier maps, as I explained before, the Awakening level will be more effect of the modifiers. So if a monster has 100% extra fists as fire, with this modifier it has 124% fists as fire. So the mods are getting super rippy if you farm the hardest content in the game. And if I die, what can happen, I just spawn a portal here on my corpse, and if I land in my hideout, I'll go back and I don't really lose a lot of time, because it's the worst thing. If you do a map, you're at the end of the map, you're killing the boss, and then you die. Or at least you try to kill the boss, you die on the boss, and then you have to walk the whole map again to get to your body, which is bad. Then our chest, the Chevron's wrappings. This has the important stat, Chaos damage does not bypass energy shield. The way Chaos damage works, not only for enemies, but for ourselves as well, it ignores energy shield. Let's say I'm having 8.3k energy shield, but 21 life, because I reserved so much. A Chaos damage with 22 will kill me, or 21 basically. So the energy shield doesn't matter. But with this stat here, the Chaos damage will first go to energy shield and then to life. And I'm having a massive energy shield pool, so I will survive that. This is why we have to use the shafts. There are other ways to do it, but I just think that the shafts is just the best way to do it. I'm having here Bane, Despair, Efficiency, Control Destruction, Swift Affliction, Void Manipulation. So the best DPS would be an Empower instead of Void Manipulation, but it's like 7 Exalt's investment and will give you probably 3% more damage, so it's not really worth. It's way more worth on the Essence Drain here. So I'm applying Bane Despair here on my Bane, and the first question you might have, why not use Bane with multiple curses? I figured that one out in Path of Building, like when it got released, because then I played Bane for the first time. 1 curse plus 4 supports does more damage than 5 curses and 0 supports. The reason why Bane says 48% more damage per curse applied. This has also, like, same as the Chaos damage explosion, it has a diminishing return. So not every single curse will give you the 50% extra damage here. Alright, gloves, just rare, like magic, rare, yeah. Energy shield resistance. Energy shield resistance, energy shield resistance, energy shield resistance. Okay, nothing too fancy here on these rare items. For the auras, I'm having here Discipline, Bile Discipline. This instantly gets my shield recharge going, although I'm getting damage, for example, right? This is like my oh shit I'm dying button. Malevolence, Clarity, and Blood Magic. Clarity on level 1, but this is just a placeholder, okay? I don't need Clarity, it's just I would like to have an energy maximum energy shield Watcher's Eye with a Clarity mod. And if I'll be able soon to buy one, then I have the Clarity already built in my gear. So the thing is, I don't want to have a fully set out gems and everything, and in the end I'll be like, oh wait, I could take the Clarity mod, I don't have a gem slot open for a Clarity. Shit, what am I going to replace? The way I do it, I know that I probably will take it at some point, so I'm just building the Clarity right now in as well. And Blood Magic. The thing is, the higher the Blood Magic, the lower the mana reservation is on life, okay? If you don't have a higher Blood Magic, then we have multiple clusters on the bottom side, on the top side, on the left side, and on the middle side here. These are the 4 clusters that can give you reduced mana reservation, okay? So you have to skill those, unless your Blood Magic is high enough so you can live without it. I'm currently using 1 cluster and it's fine for me. Then, as I said, energy shield resistance. For the boots, Syntrack, it works the same energy shield resistance, but Syntracks are super cheap, you know, the price will be full linked now. Full linked Syntracks go for about, I think, a chaos or so. If the, yeah, 1 chaos, 2 chaos, okay? Super cheap item, a lot of energy shield, movement speed, super nice item. I'm having here Herald of Ash, burning damage, swift affliction, and increased area of effect. Some of you may encounter, if you run the, on the life build, for example, if you run Malevolence and Herald of Ash, you don't have enough mana to reserve everything. Just get away the increased area of effect or skill into reduced mana reservation. The way Herald of Ash works, as I said before, it is based on the overkill damage you're doing. You cannot calculate this in Path of Building because Path of Building does not know how much life did the mob have and how much overkill damage you had, okay? But it is still, it's getting supported by damage over time effect, so that's why we use burning damage and swift affliction. Alright, so that is for that part. Presence of Jeweler. This is something that you can take, but you don't have to take. Since we're an Occultist, we have Vile Bastion, and it says cannot be stunned while you have Energy Shield. Usually on low life builds, you want to have a Presence of Jeweler to be stun immune, right? We get the stun immunity from our Vile Bastion, so why do I use that? First of all, it gives me a shitload of Energy Shield, and I'm getting Chaos Resistance. And with the Withering Presence, that gives me 60% Chaos Resistance, and the Presence of Jeweler, 60%, then we have here a little bit Chaos Resistance and here a little bit, and guess what? I'm Chaos Res capped. And this helps me so much at the serious fight and also Metamorph encounters on the Poison Conqueror and so on. Having Chaos Res is a super nice quality of life. A lot of people forget about that, but if you're Res capped, you're just gonna feel the difference once you encounter those dudes. Also like Tora, for example. Alright, this is the reason why I take Press of Jeweler. Then we allocate Tranquility. Tranquility is an anointment only, right? It gives you Transfiguration of Soul. And if we check what this is doing, Transfiguration of Soul, you're gonna get spell damage based on your maximum energy shield, basically, right? Grants increased maximum energy shield, and 30% of that value is going to be spell damage. So this just gives me a lot of spell damage if I scale a lot of increased maximum energy shield, what we do anyways, right? And this is so much valuable, or so valuable, that I decided to spend that 1 blue, 2 gold, I think it was. Yeah, but it's quite expensive, not necessary, but if you want to min-max your character and you have a couple exalts over, that would be a good option for it. Alright, I think that's about it on the gear. Path of Building link is in the description below. So let's see about the Flask. I'm having a Silver Flask with Curse Immunity, a Basalt Flask with Freeze Immunity, a Granite Flask with Ignite Immunity. This is specifically for the Serious Encounter, and also I died on the Fire Elder Guardian that killed me with Ignite, so that's why I have that one in. A Blade Immunity Flask of Sulfur Flask, and a Quicksilver Flask with Movement Speed. I would like to replace the Curse Immunity Flask with a Cinder Swallow Urn, but I was not yet to be able to buy one. And if you have a map, we can run all maps, you know, we're not an Ellie build, we can play Fist Reflect, Ellie Reflect, we can play everything. But if you have a map that has players cannot regenerate life or mana, you're gonna get yourself a Mana Flask that says Flask effect is not removed at full mana, and you can easily run that. Because the way Essence Drain work, you get still the energy shield, but it's not calculated as a regeneration, and the recharge of the energy shield is not regen as well. So you're fine on your life pool, but you're not fine on your mana. You're gonna spend like 2 or 3 Banes, you will be running out of mana, and you cannot even cast Flame Dash anymore. That's why we use the Mana Flask, and I'm replacing my Ignite Immunity Flask for it. Alright, quick take a look on the skill tree. Basically, we take the energy shield nodes, some area of effect for both Herald of Ash and for the Bane. Then we have some life nodes here, and this is because I'm using energy from within. This will convert every single life node into energy shield. So now it gives life, life resistance, life. Now I get this one in. Now it gives maximum energy shield resistance, energy shield. Then energy shield, more damage over time. Zealot's Oath, so the essence drain damage will not regen life, but energy shield. Here's some more energy shield and resistance. On the right side, Wicked Ward. Then we have more energy shield. Hexmaster for increased area of effect of Bane. Damage, life, regen, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so typical the same things. Chaos damage over time multiplier, energy shield, area of effect. And that's about it, basically. Let's talk about the jewels. I'm having this jewel that I just explained, the energy from within, twice. One on this region, and it also will apply to the bottom side, heart and soul. So those usually give life and mana. Now it gives energy shield and mana. And I'm having this on the melding wheel as well. So usually this one gives life and energy shield. I get this one in. Now it only gives energy shield for both of the values. Other than that, my rare jewels, I have 2 of those at the moment, is damage over time, chaos damage over time multiplier, and energy shield. Prioritize chaos damage over time multiplier and energy shield. And if you have currency, get the damage over time on top of that, because the damage over time will also scale your Herald of Ash. What would I do if you have the currency? I still wasn't able to buy one. One would be Malevolence chaos damage over time multiplier. If you want to have damage, and if you want to have survivability, the Clarity max energy shield from mana. Okay, and if you're a rich fuck, buy one that has both. Good. That's about this one. Ascendancy, first one, Profane Bloom, then whatever. I picked Valbastion for the survivability because Void Beacon and Withering Presence are basically just 2 damage things. And this one, since you might ask yourself, hey, wait a second, you're having the Spell Totem in your weapon swap, you don't have it on Essence Drain. That is true, but we have the Withering Presence that says every second inflict Withered on nearby enemies for 15 seconds. It has a maximum stack of 15, so that means if we stand next to the boss, which happens on a lot of bosses, we're just getting this Wither effect as well. But if we use it with Spell Totem, we will get the 15 stacks way much faster. Alright, bandit choice, we killed all, okay? There is actually 2 things that you consider, basically, on every character. Is your build a crit build? Help Alira for the crit multiplier. If you're a non-crit build, kill all for the 2 extra passives. Let's take a look at the Pantheons. I wasn't able, or at least I was not bothering with upgrading these. There is only one that I upgraded, and this is Soul of Shakari, which makes me immune to poison. A big quality of life, especially against every kind of poison dude, especially like the Conqueror, I think, does poison damage as well. And since I have this one, easy clap. I would definitely recommend Soul of Shakari for the poison immunity, and the other one that I use at the moment is Solaris for bossing or Lunaris for mapping. Alright, let's take a look at the MTX. Yeah, you know what? I think we're gonna skip the MTX because this is the new supporter pack. And if you're not willing to spend $480, then don't. Let's keep that. Okay, we can still go through the auras, okay? Bane doesn't have one. Then we have the Celestial Essence Drain, the Wasteland Flame Dash, the Celestial Aura Effect, the Monolith Aura Effect from Legion League, Soul Nexus Aura Effect, the White Herald Effect, then Spell Totem has nothing for some reason. I actually always use the Arcane Tome. Weird. And the Celestial Wither Effect and Dark Immortal Call with the Celestial Character Effect, the Celestial Footprints, and the Viper Bow. This is this one over here with the Orion Weapon Effect. So yeah, if you're willing to spend or already purchase the new core supporter packs, and I think they look amazing, especially with this big dude coming up here. Where is it? Oi! Is it popping? Hey, sir? It's not working. Hey, GGG, I want my money back. Ah, there it is. There he is. Our small little Tyrus or Conqueror or Orieth Savior or something like that. So, I think everything is said and done. We talked about the gear, the gems, the flasks, the options that you have. Oh, by the way, I want to mention this as well. If you cannot afford the bow, you can take Cane of the Unraveling. And if you don't have a Chef's 6-link, you can take the 5-link one and skip Void Manipulation. We talked about the skill tree, the ascendancies, the gems, possible upgrades for Watcher's Eyes. Then we talked about the bandits, the Pantheon, the MTX, and I think that's it. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this build. It has been an absolute blast. This is still my league starter. I have currently a playtime of 4 days, 10 hours, so this is the character that I created on the first day of the release of the Metamorph League and the Conquerors of the Atlas, and now it's time to bring something else since I've done all the content with it. Guys, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and see you on the next video.